Appreciate it, Marshall.
Hey guys, hey everybody, welcome to the Bat Community Call. It's Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Good to see you all. Hope you all have been doing well. And yeah, it's been a bunch going on this week. But yeah, I hope that you all have been having a good one. Let me see here as far as news and updates go. Looks like we have got it's been very busy a couple of weeks. And I want to thank Jenny and folks for filling in when I've been out. I was out in New York last week at a offsite we were having with our sales team and some other folks. And so I really appreciate y'all filling in while I was out. We had a couple things happen. I think HelioPay added BAT last week and announced it for their payments platform. So they're like a Web3 payment processor. They've added BAT support there, which is cool. And they joined our merchant program, which was awesome too. And we're talking about it with a couple other partners around adding BAT to other services too. So keep your eyes out for that. And yeah, we had folks probably saw it on the 25th Brave Leo. We added Mixtral to that as a model, which is pretty cool. Check that out. But yeah, I think a lot of cool stuff going on. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I see. There's anyone know why Solana was down on Wallet? So Solana had an outage, or Solana failed to produce blocks for 4 hours or something like that last night. I think there might be some after effects there, but not sure. But yeah, so let's see here. Is Jenny on yet? We could see we have some community updates. But I don't know. I think I could just open it up. I don't think we have any special guests this week, unless I missed out on what those were. So if folks have anything they want to talk about, we can start there, and then we can do community updates once we're on. Drew, how are you doing, man? Any updates from your side?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Yeah, just I guess I'll go over my stuff right now, even though Jenny will probably show it later, but that's fine. Yeah, we got some this week. We're still working on getting gas for our space, but the next couple of weeks we got some pretty good gas. We got the Zcash community that's going to be coming on with us, and then and actually I think Bruno down in Brazil is doing an event with them too, so that should be good. And then the week after that, we're looking to have a VeChain on as a guest. So some good ones lined up there in the coming weeks. Other than that, yeah, kind of same stuff. Just grinding out, getting other projects on board, and looking forward to all the updates that have been coming out. So good stuff going on so far.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's see here. Bows, how are you doing, man? Any updates from your side of the world? All right. Sherelle, how are you doing? Oh, I see. Bows will be right back. Sherelle, how's it going?
Things are good on our end. So we're wrapping up some of our sponsorships from last year and deciding what we're going to renew for this year. So if you have any communities out there that you guys are interested in working with, you can always hit me up in Discord and we'd be happy to talk to them.
Cool. Let's see here. All right, I guess I'll open it up. If folks have questions, we can get started with questions or want to talk about anything, and then yeah, when Jenny gets on, we can have her cover broader updates. Jenny's here. Hey, Jenny, how's it going?
Hi, good.
Hey,
How are you?
good. You want to roll in with updates?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a sec to get set up. Hang on. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, all right. So I think we have a little bit of a lighter update this week. Like I mentioned last week, for everyone that was here, I'm going to be giving our Bad Ambassador referral stats update bi-weekly going forward, just so that the updates are a little bit more meaningful. We can see more of a jump between numbers from week to week. Since it's still the beginning of the year, we're still ramping up events, and until we really get them rolling again, we're not going to see big increases week over week. So we're going to skip that one this week and move right into, hang on, community weekly highlights. All right, so I wanted to share some social growth on X for our BAT community account and our attention token primary BAT account. So as I mentioned last week, we sort of started a campaign at the beginning of January where we increased our post frequency, our content diversity, our engagement, and we also kicked off a Brave Ads push notification ad campaign in select regions. More will be added later. I think it's running in like 5 or 6 regions to start, to help boost the visibility of our socials among our Brave users who may not know that we have Twitter accounts that you can follow. So since we started doing that at the beginning of the month, that community account has finally reached over 19,000 followers, which is crazy because we were hovering around 16K for the longest time. And it felt like no matter what we did, we couldn't really move the needle. So yeah, we've seen pretty significant growth, really non-trivial growth in the past few weeks, with just, increasing the types of, increasing the amount that we tweet, what we tweet, the diversity of tweets, engaging with our followers there, and layering that with a push notification campaign. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see on the bottom here, our tweets for the last 30 days are up by 173%. So we're tweeting with intensity, and we hope to continue this. And I also pulled some data from, thank you. I pulled some data from Social Blade, which is interesting. You can check Social Blade for any of your socials. It's pretty fun. It's free. But I wanted to show the positive trajectory on this account over time. So on the right-hand side in the weekly view, you can see a spike in followers toward the end of January that correlates with our increase in tweeting, which is good. And over here this is for the primary BAT account. On the other hand, it has seen a more complex trajectory, yet followers and tweets are still trending up over time, and will continue to influence these charts with regular tweeting and engagement this quarter. So yeah, that's that update. And then moving on, we have a new BAT meme contest launched. It's been a little while since we did this, so we figured it was time. I have been seeing too many of the same memes. They're all great. No complaints. We love all your memes, but I've been seeing the same ones circulating for a little while. So we are kicking off a new meme contest. It just started this afternoon, and it'll be running all the way until February 14th, next week, Valentine's Day. And the theme is Valentine's. Interpret that how you will. I know you guys are great with this stuff, so I'm going to leave it all up to you. But the top 4 memes will receive a BAT prize. We haven't decided how much yet, but we will let you know. And to enter, same as always, you can just submit your meme right in the thread on Twitter. We've pinned the tweet where you can make your submissions. It's on BAT Community Twitter in the pins. You can't miss it. So show us what you got. I'm excited. I'm excited for some fresh meme content.
Me too.
Yeah, and a little scared. I don't know. We'll see what they come up with. But I'm excited. Okay, is Drew here?
Drew
Yeah,
is-
I'm here. And I kind of went over this real quick before you got on, Jenny. But I figured, hey, it's fine. It'll be quick. But also, in addition to the spaces that we have coming up with the Zcash and VChain, we currently have a quest on Bandit for the NFT holders for the karate token that they gave us for our holders. So check that out in the Discord for the link and go claim that for any NFT holders. And then also There was something else I was going to mention, but I can't remember what it is now. If I think of it, I'll bring it back up. But the normal weekly stuff as well, like trivia, Jackbox, those kind of things as well. Coming up. I think that's all I got. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. I just want to mention on the Karate Combat Bandit quest, full transparency. They're working out a little bug with it still. Drew, I know we just spoke like an hour ago, and you said that it was fixed, but then I just tried to complete the quest and I ran into a little technical swag on the last snag. So before we promote it more widely, like on Twitter and stuff, we just want to make sure that it's working perfectly so that you have a great experience with it. And Drew, what is the participation prize for that quest? Do you know?
Yeah, I think we've got like 300,000 karate token that we're giving away for that.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, this one is specifically for our BAT X Adamate NFT holders, but we are also working on some quests with Bandit for some other stuff. I can't really say just yet, but it's exciting. And yeah, we should have updates on that in the next couple of weeks. And they certainly won't be limited to access for Brave NFT holders only. They'll be open to everybody. So stay tuned. Okay. I don't think Battern could make it today, but he wanted to shout out Scott, aka Crypto Dojo. I don't know if he's here, but Crypto Dojo was promoted from the attaché rank in the ambassadors program to ambassador. He's been really, really wonderful participating in all of our weekly calls. He hosted the last watch party for the Karate Combat Kickback 1 event, and he will be assisting as well with the upcoming Karate Combat Watch Party for the KC44 event on February 23rd. We will have more details on that and how you can participate in the watch party coming soon, but it's going to be a little bit more of we're going to make sure that it's bigger than the last one and that the experience is more gamified for the participants. So stay tuned. But yeah, Scott, Crypto Dojo, congrats. If you're here, I can't see the attendance screen right now, but if you're here, congratulations. And if not, I hope you see this later, and we're so glad to have you. Oh, and I guess he also hooked us up with, yeah, he did. He introduced us to VeChain, who we're having on Twitter Spaces very soon. So thank you, Crypto Dojo. Okay. For those who have been around long enough to remember, we used to have an official BAT Telegram. We no longer have it, but apparently you guys don't want to stay away from Telegram. So Ace Laws from our community will be managing the BAT Brigade Telegram, the official/unofficial Telegram. So yeah, check that out. I don't have the link. I will get it and I will put it in the chat, or maybe if Belladone is quicker than me, he'll drop it in the chat before I'm done speaking. But yeah, if you want to talk BAT on Telegram, we now have a BAT Brigade Telegram. And thank you to Ace Laws if he is here or tunes in later. This is also for Battern. There will be another Council of Sages meeting on Friday the 23rd at 8 p.m. GMT, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 18 o'clock UTC. The call will be token gated, so you must have a Sage NFT in order to access the call. And this will be much like the last one they did, where all of the Sage holders meet and discuss utility possibilities for our BAT X Adamate NFTs, that, ideas that we can then bring to the Brave team if needed. But yeah, it's a brainstorming session. So for anybody who holds our NFTs or the Sage, make sure you come so that you can have a say in the utility perks that you end up getting for being a holder. All right, Drew, I think this one's yours. I think you kind of covered it, but if you want to go through it again.
Graphics awesome.
I know, I love it. Okay, so maybe he's not able to get on the mic right now, but we have events going on throughout the week in the Bat community. Tuesday, I think it might have already happened, poker night, meaning poker night for Bat Earn, but he's in Europe, so I think that already happened. Tomorrow we have Degen Royale. Thursday we have Scribble. Friday is trivia with Dave, and then on Saturday, Jackbox games with Dragon Dave, like we have every week. If you want to know more about these activities and games, get into the Bat Brigade Discord. You can ask all your questions there, and we always have Bat prizes for participation, so get in there. Is Guillermo here today?
I am.
Oh,
Hey,
great.
Guillermo.
Hello, everyone. So we're all
Hi.
just to share like the February schedule, what it looks like, and I'll be focusing on three things. That will be infographics, as I mentioned priorly, and I've been making those for the past weeks. Some artwork for the swag store, and I want to submit for approval, and some of artworks that are going for Echo. Next slide. Thank you. So these are just a few infographics that we have currently. This is for the on-chain tipping for Brave Leo's feature updates, and we're focusing next on Brave News revamp, and then the priority will be self-serve ads, and then once we got our list, we can go for the use cases of BAT on Solana, like we see on different blockchains.
Yeah, those are all going to be really good. And just wanted to add that Guillermo's been working really hard on these since everybody seemed to really like the on-chain creator contributions infographic so much and found it to be helpful. He's taken the initiative to work on a bunch more. So, give us your feedback. Let us know if you like them. Because we'll keep making them. If they are helpful, we'll continue to introduce new infographics.
Also, let us know where you would like to see them, because sometimes I know that these kind of information can be hard to see around. Of course, we can just search Brave and then the corresponding update that we want, like self-serve ads, Brave. But other than that, like sometimes we might not even know that those things are coming. So where would be the ideal place to see these?
Yeah, that's a good question, Guillermo. So definitely we're going to be circulating these on Twitter. In fact, we already have been. And I think we're going to try to coordinate with Pete, who runs our Brave socials, to see if he can work some of the Brave ones into his social posting schedule. So maybe we'll see some infographics up on the Instagram. And who knows where else. But yeah, do let us know where you'd like these to live if you want to be able to pull them up easily or share them easily.
Also, Twitter is like the highlights option, so that could be a useful place to put them.
Yeah, that's a good call.
These are some of the artworks that I'm just leaking for Echo, since I haven't got many Echo updates. It's been a struggle to coordinate with so many projects at once, and these are the ones that basically we have confirmed. And the two posters on the right were made by one of our ambassadors, Moonbeamer. Next slide.
That's so cool.
Thank you, Jenny. And this is for the swag store. As I mentioned priorly, just want to do some revamp of older designs and see if they are more able to actually get into the swag store and put them into some merchandise like t-shirts, posters, and whatnot.
Yeah, and I just want to add, like, our thinking here is Guillermo has had so many art pieces that have kind of gone viral on Twitter and in the community. And on our merch store, we have a section called the Community Inspired section. And so we were thinking of launching a capsule with designs that have previously gone viral or have been very popular. Just to have a little bit of diversity up there. Since he has created so many great designs, it'll be really great to see them featured on some products and have people be able to purchase some things with your wonderful designs on them, Guillermo.
Thank you. I can even make like some voting, like would you prefer these or that, or just make some like a championship of older designs. Maybe that could be interesting and people would like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. You can run polls for it through your Twitter or something.
Yeah. Guillermo,
Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you. Okay, Paula.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick update. So two of our spaces recaps have been published first with Bing Bong on December 1st, and the other one with Injective on January 10th. Both recaps have been published in Notion and posted in the Bat Brigade Discord in the AMA Calls Recap channel. But you can also find Bing Bong's recap in the latest, I think it's the latest post from the Bat Community account on X. And I will be posting Injective's recap as well soon. Thank you. That's all from my side today.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I think that's it for us this week. Let us know if you have any questions.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And do I see Jimmy Secretan in the audience today?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Oh my gosh, look who it is, man. How you
Hi,
doing?
Jimmy.
It's good to talk to all of you. I miss our meetings.
I miss the
I got
sound.
busy with other startup things now, but you told me I should pop in, and I was like, I should do that. And I
Oh my
We
gosh,
miss you,
man.
Jimmy. We miss
Hey.
you.
Good to see you guys.
So what have you been up to, my man? Well, tell us what you're doing these days.
Well, so so much. Like I guess it was about a year ago. I left to there was a professor, Ken Stanley, and he wrote this. We used to do research together. He wasn't my advisor, but I was like, I like to hang around his lab when I was at UCF because I loved his work, and eventually we worked on some cool, interesting projects together, and he ended up writing this book. It's called The Myth of the Objective: Why Greatness Can't Be Planned. And it's just like really interesting philosophy about how, a lot of these objective based things like, famously OKRs and like all this stuff actually works against us when we're trying to solve really big, interesting, important problems that like, yeah, if some things, kind of fit into the box and, you know what you do and try the objectives, but sometimes you're just, you need like serendipity in your life or whatever it is to kind of, take you in different directions that you don't know how it's going to turn out. And so, we decided to turn, been, kept in touch with him, and he went to OpenAI in the meantime. But then he decided he was going to leave, and that, we should do this together. And, and then I said, I got to go for it. So yeah, we've been, it's been busy, it's like, I had to try to become useful again and, do some, development. Like I was an old Rails guy before I was, a useless manager. So like, I dusted off what I could, and, we put together an app, and, tries to, our kind of angle on it is, that Facebook, Twitter, all of these things have become, these like objective maximization machines. And the objective is, eyeballs, right, at whatever cost. And as a result is drowning out a lot of really interesting discussion, that not everything has to go viral. Sometimes it's, it's a throwback, I think in some ways to kind of the old internet. Like we remember going into chat rooms and being on bulletin boards, and like you could just talk about interesting things, right? Like you didn't have to get likes for everything. You didn't have to, dunk or score or any of that. You just talked about stuff that was interesting, and you read stuff that other people were talking about that was interesting. And so that's kind of what we wanted to introduce, that you could, come into the app, you could kind of say what you wanted to talk about, and we would do our best to like get you into an interesting conversation that wasn't about, how many likes you could get. So yeah, we it's called Maven. You can go to heymaven.com if you're so inclined. But I got back in touch with the team because we wanted to get some users on board, and we were like, I mean, I truly believed it, that the new tab page unit was like the most underappreciated unit in all of ad tech. From the beginning, I was a firm believer in it, and I remain so, even after Brave, that like it's just such a valuable unit. It's
Preach.
so cool. Yeah, that's right. That's amen, right? It's like such a valuable unit. Like the branding of it, it's just like, where else could you get this, this just big, bold, beautiful unit in front of, you know, tens of millions of users. There's just nothing offered like it out there. And so, you know, we know it's great at branding, but it gave us our best 3 days ever by multiple X. You know, we're still small and growing, but like it was an enormous help to us. And you know, it let us, you know, it let us you know, go from just kind of experimenting here and there with people in the community, you know, just onesies and twosies that we brought on board, to, you know, bringing on a real set of people, and there's interesting discussions that, you know, it felt alive in a way that it hadn't ever. So we are, you know, we're just impressed, grateful, and, you know, just affirms what I already knew, that it was just like that, you know, brave ads are awesome. I'm loving self-service. Like you know, everything that has happened there since I've been gone is just so damn impressive. And so, yeah, I figured I'd just wanted to join and say hi and, you know, see how everybody's doing.
Sorely missed, my man. It's great. Thank you for dropping in. I don't know, while we have you here, but I don't know if anybody has any questions for Jimmy. Let's and wants to raise a hand. Oh, yep, C-Ray.
Yeah, actually, I was taking a look. So on Maven, it's download only, like an app. You're not going to have a website for it, or
no? We do. You can go to, so the main site is you can go to heymaven.com, or just to the web app.heymaven.com. As you can see, our like website is probably like criminally under designed right now for our, like, you know, for our corporate presence, our landing page, stuff like that. So confusingly, it says download now, but it will link you to the web app. So we have all three, which I am doing, you know, which with me and my two contractors, we're doing the best to support. But you know, so and if you find anything there, you know, I'm sure we have no lack of bugs and weird little experiences, but you know, we're getting better every day. So
yeah, no, that's fine. I just knew when I clicked on the ad, I did see, like you said, follow interests, not influencers, download now, and it was very simplistic, and I was trying to see. So cool. Now I'm able to see the web app. So neat.
Awesome.
Cool. Any other questions from folks? Oh, thanks for putting the links in the chat there, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, what is oblique AI?
Oblique?
Oh, hey, Brennan.
Or machine learning? What does obliquity mean?
Oh, you know, I mean, look, I think in the context that we think about it, you know, Ken's research before this, you know, what he did at UCF and what he had a group to do at OpenAI. It went under the term kind of open-endedness, but I think a lot of the concepts are the same. He did like some really interesting research. There's this whole, like, you know, it spawned this kind of like whole subsection of AI, like that, you know, includes things like they're called like quality diversity algorithms and like all these different things. But basically the idea and some of the tests that they had done is you know, you take this AI agent, right? And, you know, you try to get him to do something, like they would, you know, it's like, oh, is the you know, little neural network learns to walk, or, you know, you learn to avoid something or complete some task or whatever it was, right? And what you would try to do is you would, you know, the way these optimization algorithms would work is it would try to say, okay, just climb the gradient, get a little bit better. And a lot of times, you know, that's like very slow to progress. And the like weird little algorithmic irony of this that probably has like enormous implications for, you know, sort of AI in general, I think, is that when they use this whole different class of algorithms where its objective wasn't to like complete the, like, you know, go through the maze or, you know, teach the neural network to walk, when the objective just was make a bunch of like, you know, make the most different set of solutions that you can, and sort of, you know, throw away the worst ones, kind of, that it would actually outperform those algorithms that were trying to do the exact thing. So it's like the objective of the algorithm trying to follow it actually made it take way longer to do something, to do what you wanted to do, than if you would like abandon the objective entirely. Like it actually got around to the right thing faster if you didn't try to get it to do the right thing, because it's like, and it has implications for, I think, a lot of things that when you're trying to solve really hard problems, you know, the answers are so rarely the, you know, the next little improvement. The answers are a lot of times something that's like totally different and looks different, even if it feels useless when it comes out of the gate, you know. So
Yeah, no, this matches, you know, old saws about lateral thinking. It's how I've sometimes addressed programming problems that are, you know, amorphous general hill climbing problems, or that don't lend themselves to obvious stepwise solutions. So, cool. Thanks.
yeah, of course, love it.
Awesome. Any other questions? I guess Brendan's here too, so floor is open, folks. A couple heavy hitters today. I see Carlos is here too. How you doing, Carlos? There's two of you actually.
Hey, Brendan.
Oh, hey.
What was behind the upsurge in the numbers? Hello?
Is that for Luke or me?
Oh,
Either one of you.
I give the floor to Luke. I yield the floor to my colleague, Senator Luke.
Come on. Oh, come on now.
I know that there was a big surge like the beginning of the year too, with people getting back online and everything like that. I'm not sure if there was one specific cause for it yet, but yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a strong January with folks getting back in the swing of things. Like you typically see things dip off at the end of December too, so it was good to see that climb. There's a bunch of growth efforts going on too right now that likely yielded that up. But we're also shipping a lot of stuff. There's a lot of attention too. I mean, I think if you see like the amount of headlines that kind of dropped in January were pretty significant. And I know that, you know, we're getting a lot of pickup on Twitter and elsewhere around like the Mixtral update on the Leo stuff, and a lot of new people trying out Brave, which is great. Any other questions, folks? Floor's open. Floor's open. See you right.
I guess I'll pick up where I left off in chat because I didn't see a response. Solana, I was checking their global and it shows that everything's up and running. Brave, the status.brave is still showing that it's down.
Yeah, I signaled that to the team. Like I said, and mentioned it to the team.
Okay, no, I wanted to make sure. I knew I just actually had someone else tag me and was trying to ask, so I figured if we knew anything about that. And I guess it's not been long enough that we know anything about anything coming up on iOS, right, Brendan?
Regarding the app store?
No, we haven't tried anything with iOS. It's very tricky to do things with them because they can put you in the penalty box for a while. So we're gonna play it cool for a while and then see if we can get somewhere better. The general advice I've gotten, and some of it is more specific, but it comes from heavy hitters like Sweatcoin's founder, whom I know, is to, you know, avoid things that are just pay per task, but have some small bounded upside game of chance or skill or both aspects. So we're looking into that.
All right. And if you guys don't mind, I'll swing back. Jimmy, are you guys actually going to be looking for any integration with Brave by chance on your site?
Well, look, I'm totally into it. I mean, you know, we're like I said, we're tiny, and I do want to make the you'll be happy to know that I'm at least trying, to keep analytics first party and stuff where I can, because I think it works better anyway. But yeah, I mean, we're open to like cool ideas there. We're kind of in the phase where like, so yeah, we got the product out there. We're trying to like encourage these like great, interesting collisions. And I think Brave has just been an awesome, like, we were just impressed by the audience with it too. I mean, because it's like, yeah, brave people. They're thoughtful, they're passionate, they're like, they're willing to. I think as of course, like with the browser, they're willing to try something new. So I don't have any ideas like locked and loaded, but I'm into it. I mean, we're less like, I think like, of course, like, because we're focused on the parts we're focusing on, of trying to like, match people in these smart ways and then use AI to sort of like boost this, I intentionally didn't take a like, great Fediverse kind of tactic, which is like definitely super interesting. But, of course it's like when you're, a few person startup, you start with the biggest differentiators you can, but, all that stuff is interesting. We want to continue to make it like, more and more private, of course, like out of the gate, we don't want to be the, we don't want to be a social network that's like shuffling your data everywhere around. Like we want to, use it inside the system to give you a great experience. And then if we, someday if we do have ads or whatever that looks like, take all the the great principles that were developed at Brave and carry those forward into like advertising experiences that could be super private and super relevant. But like that being said, like yeah, we're totally open to like cool interactions and integrations. Yeah.
Oh yeah, which I guess what I meant is, as I'm looking around, I was incredibly surprised to see that you didn't have your site as a verified creator to be able to have any bat sent in or anything to help support you through it, and didn't even know if you would be looking at creators as far as individual accounts, kind of like how we've done with Twitter, if you'll ever build out to that. But at least for your own site, I thought you would.
No, you are 100% right. I am remiss for not being in the creator system, and I will rectify that ASAP. No, but you're right that like, it's weird the tension that we're trying to go through, right? Because I like Brave or Maven is kind of intentionally anti-influencer. Not that we have anything against all those wonderful influencers out there, but we're trying to say like, hey, look, everybody wants to, there's so many places where you can go and see the same opinions of the same people and the same stuff. And that's great. And people love that. But also we're looking for places where you can just go talk and not try to establish status. So I think in that sense, we haven't really appealed that much to like, we've intentionally not appealed that much to like really like hardcore, like, no, I'm building my user base, my millions, and like, that's great. Totally support that. At the same time, you make a good point that like, there's a, there may be this like much better opportunity for kind of like the peer-to-peer stuff that, has been difficult to do otherwise. Right. So that's an interesting thing too, where like, you might be able to spend some of your, crypto or capital, right, on boosting stuff or advertising or yeah, it sure would be nice if instead of a reaction, you're like, here's a bet, right here, like I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I really liked what you said, and I liked it so much that here is actual cold hard cash. So no, totally, like totally a possibility. We'll as usual, the sellout answer is yeah, we'll navigate it as we can keep living and raise more. But yeah, great idea and great question.
All right, and last thing I'm going to ask on Maven, on that, are you going to be adding direct conversation or control with the AI system? For example, right now on interest, if I go to choose interest, it says tell others about yourself. So it's going to make it sound like I'm just telling other people. It's not saying, hey, tell us what you're interested in or what you want to see or what have you. There's no way to fine tune that.
No, and I think it's like I'm struggling to keep the web version up to date sometimes with the React Native versions. Shout out to JavaScript, of course, which is going great. And but yeah, in fact, when you enter interest there, it appears in your profile, but also it definitely helps tune your feed. So I just have some language to update. So
Alrighty.
Cool. Crippled Resistance, you got a hand up.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Well, a couple of days ago, I ran across a post by the high twins, which have a big account. They posted something about Google, and I tried to post something in the Brave group on Twitter about that. I think there should be more of a response to big accounts like that when they post something about Google or censorship. I think that would be really helpful to Brave if we could all attack stuff like that when it comes up, or else we're missing a big opportunity because those accounts have like millions of followers. So we all need your help when stuff like that comes about. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Like, it's something where too, like, there are some issues that these things come up when that are super important that we can also, like, we're actually working to for example, whenever there's a manifest v3 news update around how they're changing ad blocking rules and the browser apis and people assume that because Brave's a Chromium based browser that we're going to be impacted from that when we actually aren't, because a team a couple of years ago very proactively changed the way that our ad blocking engine works to make it so that we're not actually going to get hit by that. When those ones come up, like, we see people flag us in there and we get in there, and like I've gone through on occasion and replied a bunch of times to these things to let people know, and to the point where we're now like actually like we're going to have some folks from the privacy team on the podcast to talk about, and Ryan Brown from our ad blocking team to talk about these things like on a pod. We're creating content around it to kind of address this. So because what we found is that it's super easy to like go in and make a piece of content that you can then share in those things instead of having to type them out 100 times. But I think with these other issues, like the one you bring up, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe there's like a ready group we could have like in the community where these things come up and we can do it, and folks from the team can even jump into if they feel inclined to and comment on these things, because I think that you're right. Like there's opportunities there where we can remind people where, hey, like, we're out here protecting privacy and we're an alternative kind of thing. But it also helps when that kind of comes from the community too. Like a lot, actually. Like a lot of times when people are surfacing stuff as a user, it almost like can carry more weight in some cases than somebody that works at the company posting it. And we certainly sample that, like anecdotally, from even in things like pitch decks, we put in stuff that you guys say from Twitter, screenshot or whatever, because and people like are impressed by that type of thing.
Well, I was very surprised because there was a lot of people talking about Brave, but they were also bringing up like DuckDuckGo, and a couple other things, Firefox. And I was trying to advocate for how Brave doesn't censor or anything like that. So we need to jump on that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like with the whole campaign season coming up, and there's just going to buckle down on more and more types of censorship and things like that. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome, man. That's a good call out. Good call out. C-Ray.
Hey, on Leo, do we have any ETA or ideas on when or if we are going to be plugging it in with like Brave Search or something so it can have real-time information?
Yeah, I know that like they got the Mixtral model out, and I think that the next big focus is on getting mobile out, and then
The search integration is in a pull request, I think. So if you ask Brian Bond, you can get the freshest information, but I believe search integration's poised to land.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
There's other stuff coming, like the better UX than a sidebar for content editing sort of stuff. You don't want to have a narrow sidebar. You want to have something that covers more of the page. And, we're thinking hard about how Leo needs to differentiate against just general like chat.openai.com or AI in search, which we already have. To make it really pop, in my opinion, we need it to be, this is what we all want, right? Let's be honest. I showed my kids Iron Man 2008, Jon Favreau, Robert Downey Jr., still one of the best. And you want Jarvis. You want Jarvis not only as voiced by Paul Bettany, but you also want what Tony Stark did when he kept the design for the Mark II secret. He wanted it on the local cloud, not in the company's computers. And that's important for anything Leo does. We want privacy. Like if you don't have it and you're starting to put PII or sensitive information, or you're automating tasks that include things like your credit card number, you're one prompt injection away from a big bad privacy breach. So this has to be well done, but I think it should be more like your personal AI assistant in the browser that has, probably more cycles than your local hardware has, but you could always run your own if you have strong hardware, that has access to search real-time data as well as your personal corpora, which are not shared with OpenAI or Google or Facebook. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I know it's definitely something that we're looking forward to. Discussion had been about like using it to be able to help shop for airline tickets and everything, but it still can't fetch that real-time information to be of use.
It's coming.
And then, yeah,
it's all
like you
coming
said,
in the train system.
Awesome. Yeah, and the other thing that I'm hoping, which you did mention, will be like you said, Jarvis being able to actually talk to it, to have like the voice to speak.
One hill at a time. That work is not commissioned at Brave yet, but I'd like to do it. I'm a little concerned that we can't do everything at once at the same pace as the bigs. And if they tie something into the OS, they could, woo you with slick voice response or user interface and tie it into all the apps on the OS, even in the face of antitrust coming awake after 20 years. So we need to be scrappy and clever and leveraged how we do this. And I do think voice matters. So I agree with you on that. It has to be something where we can not depend on the OS doing it first, because I'm afraid they'll tie it in, and that'll be hard for us to displace.
Yeah, and I think like if you look at Windows already, I just recently did an update, and that start menu is kind of spooky with Bing and more and more AI. No matter how many times I seem to turn it off on previous versions, they always try to figure out some way of somehow turning it back on. So it's a good point about the OS level thing there. But yeah, I think that reminded me of another thing too that I wanted to broach today. I had a call with James on Friday from our Web3 and Wallet team, and one thing I think we might start doing in the next in the few couple of weeks ahead is getting groups from the community together to kind of go over specific areas in the wallet and get some feedback on specific, features and experiences and things like that. So I think Jenny and folks, we might do like a call out in ambassadors or in Discord for that, but I want to give folks a heads up that we're planning on doing that, because I think what we could start to do is get in a regular cadence with a group of testers, like every month or so or every few weeks, where we look at a different area and get enough feedback to where, okay, run through Android, run through Windows, or iOS or and Mac OS or whatever, to make sure that we're kind of, double checking on coverage and aren't getting surprised. I think one thing we found too, like as the wallet has gotten bigger and bigger and more robust, with more on-chain options and EVMs, et cetera, is that there's just a lot of coverage zone to hit, and it's an area where we can work with you all more closely too on things, and we would like to. I see Bows has a hand up. Go ahead, Bows.
So I was just curious. I know last year y'all ended up partnering with the Giving Block again, and we're running some ads for them. Any details on how that went?
Yeah, I mean, we're still working with them too. We had some space at the end of the year, and I think it was kind of serendipitous, right? Like it came up on this call, and then we did some outreach to them, and they're like, "Hey, like we're actually running a end of the year promo," and we're getting the details from them on how it went from their side, but it was interesting having the conversation with them, because I remember back in 2019 we first started talking with them, 2020 2019, they had just hit their like 100th cause or something, and now they're up to over 2,000, I think, or something ridiculous. It's like huge. But from what I heard, it went pretty well. I have to get the details back from them, and I think we have a meeting scheduled with them to kind of run through it. But it's something where, look, if we have available space and to put something in, like putting something in for good is kind of a nice thing to do, especially with like Web3 space in general, where we can show people hey, there's good ways that people are contributing through here.
Yeah, I know when I went to look through it, I was going to actually do a donation, but I didn't have any in my state, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, But yeah, well, that's good to hear. I'm glad it went well.
Cool. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's see. C-Ray, you have another question.
Yeah, I had about 2 questions if I can. The one,
Sure.
do we have any more updates or thoughts on accessibility options for the browser? I'm talking about things like screen readers, live captions, high contrast mode, or any of that stuff. Is that anything that Brave is picking up again anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure on that one. If anybody else from the team is on the call and knows and has an update, feel free to chime in on that one. But I'm not. I can find out for next week if we don't have because I don't know off the top of my head right now.
Sorry, I drop out. What's the question?
The question was about accessibility options. So things like screen readers, live captions, or even like high contrast mode for like site content.
We should support what Chrome supports in the way of extensions. If we don't, raise a flag with one of us quickly. In general, I'm kind of bullish on LLMs making all this more, commodified and accessible. No pun intended. More universal, instead of having it be a matter of extensions or modalities. It should be kind of built in.
Right, and when you say as far as what Chrome has, like Chrome in accessibility does have live caption, but that's not built in. I think that goes through Google servers.
Google would charge us an arm and a leg for that. Yes,
right.
We should ping Samson and see what can be done.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Great call. Let's see here. What was your other? You had a second one on there?
Yeah. So I can remember what I was looking at now. Is there anything that we can look at on giving people kind of a heads up before changes to the UI arrive, or at least to let us know what has been changed? For example, bookmarks. A lot of people were complaining out of nowhere on how the bookmarks UI changed to where you had to hit like an edit button and all that stuff after going through. There's also been times that we completely remove things from the menus or just put them into different locations, and it's always a hunt to have to find out where it's at or if it's gone completely.
Yeah, I'm not sure. as far as heads up goes, we could probably do a little bit more like when the updates go out on like giving kind of like a visual on social or something like that. But like, yeah, I as far as like proactively giving folks a heads up on what's coming, I think that would be a little tougher ask, but you can see what the team has thought wise around that and get back.
All right, appreciate you.
Yeah, sure thing. Any other question? We got 5 minutes left, folks.
Because I can come up with more if I need to, but I'm sure Bowles has something.
Baz, you got anything?
I mean, I'm always curious to hear more about like search ads and what it's going to take for them to kind of like get fully integrated into rewards and like growing that area, because I think that could be a big piece of the pie and growing basically the range of advertisers that work with Brave.
Yeah, I think there's a couple pieces of that. One in which we've kind of talked about before, like there's been a lot of work on optimization for search ads and getting it at that parity or better with performance wise from what Google's doing. And so the team's been doubling down on that. I think regarding the other point around getting the advertisers onto rewards and other ad units, like I think there's the sales team's been working on. They've been pulling in some pretty big names onto search and getting them to kind of convert from test to paid, and then also to as like a way for them to get familiar, but then also like kind of doing follow-ups to get other units sold into as well. And so there's a big effort internally on getting more of the browser units sold right now from some of those brands. And then I think there's also some opportunistic areas too around like ETFs and other things that are going to bring more brands on that hadn't been necessarily coming on before. But this all kind of takes a little bit of time too. These are one thing we're kind of working on with the sales team is kind of like, okay, what are some different approaches we can take that might be a little more creative on kind of whether it's direct versus like, I don't know, like just to kind of put it kindly, dealing with a lot of these agencies is like kind of getting stuck in the muck or sometimes the quicksand where it's just a lot of committee think and slow moving action. And, what we've done well before in the past and what we're trying to kind of, inspire with now is ways to like, okay, well, get in with a higher decision maker, right? Like go after, show them a bigger opportunity, right? Like, and who's paying the agency, right? Like usually the CMO. So go talk to the CMO, convince the CMO, right? Like, and kind of show them the opportunity here, because I think a lot of times, like these folks are speaking a certain language at these agencies, and what we're doing is almost like a different language in a lot of ways, because not only what you run in Brave is there's a good mix of units, but like there's the only real competition you have is among other Brave advertisers, right? So like some of these things will set off light bulbs in somebody like a CMO versus like a mid-level agency person that's just kind of on their 10th call for the day. So there's a lot of activity going on around that right now, and kind of ways to convert these advertisers on, and a lot of more direct approaches to them as well. But I think like on the reward side, I think right now the team is really focused on optimizing the search volume we have with the units we have before we incorporate rewards on that. But I don't know, Brendan, if you have thoughts on the status of that.
On search ads?
Yeah, search ads and rewards.
Well, so first of all, search ads needs to be brought up. We can't share revenue we don't have. The second thing is, this may relate to the iOS point, but we don't want to make a pay per click model, because we'll be taken to the cleaners, not just by fraud, but by rewards users distorting the economics. So we have to have a better model that fits the App Store rules and peanut butters the revenue share around a bit more. It might be more like I mentioned Sweatcoin. It might be more like something that has a less direct connection to ad interactions. We don't want search ad interactions driving revenue share. And it'll still be worth getting, and we want to do it on brand principles, but we have to get the revenue first. And search is a scaled business. It's not like display or brand advertising we're doing in sponsored images, notably, or push or news. It's not something where you have direct sales team getting some great wins and you see the Ford ad, for instance, on the sponsored image, or some of the big crypto wins we've had. search has to be hundreds of thousands of e-commerce sites that renew their bids every year because they are in the same business while they're in business, and the same set of keywords, which we actually know, or Google knows better than they do, are relevant to them. And that needs automation, which is in part self-serve, but also other things we're building. Google has, an ancient billion parameter click-through rate model. We can't build that, but the neat thing about machine learning is you can build a model that black box learns from that model, and it doesn't have as many parameters, but you can get the essential training data just from the Google being a big open platform as they are. So there's a lot to do in search before we get the revenue up to the point where we can share it through BAT, but we're still working on it. And like I said, the first thing to do is get the automated sales scaled up. Once there's a pipeline fed, certainly by some direct salespeople, but also some people coming to self-serve and people hearing about us in conferences and trade, online trade rags, then I think we'll bootstrap it into a scale where we can share the revenue.
Yeah, and that's a great call out too. Because one thing I totally forgot to mention too is like we launched self-serve last week as well. I think within the first 3 hours we had something like 8 new customers coming in on that, and we've seen more and more coming in on there. But one key point about that is that, and this kind of backs into what Brendan's talking about with the automated sales play. Like the nice thing about self-serve is that we're adding in fields for if somebody wants to go buy a sponsored image, we can send somebody directly into a queue to have that conversation around that. If somebody wants to buy into search, we can put them directly to have a meeting about search and pre-qualify them, et cetera, and kind of get them into either one of those things. And these are like super important steps to take because if you look at how search ad buying traditionally happens, like through self-serve, it's self-serve is kind of taken over a lot of the advertising business, whether it's agencies that are doing this or small businesses. And the interesting thing with what we've seen so far in this week that the launch has taken place is a lot of mix of small size agencies and then small businesses that are coming in and kicking the tires around. And so we're doing some more outreach around this with inactive customers that have tried us at a certain point. We're also leaning in on the crypto side, and we're kind of making an argument of look, if you're a funded startup and trying to get to 1 million users, in cases like the one Jimmy pointed out with Maven, you can come in here and try us out and get in front of a lot of people and get your user counts up to where start growing yourself with Brave. And I think we've seen a lot of that work really well over the years that we've been out there. And this is another place where it could work really well because we have a really good incentive for folks that want to come in. If they are a startup, they can get a discount if they pay with BAT for their first campaign. We've actually talked to a couple of different crypto backed VCs and small VCs around just letting them know, hey, if you guys have companies you funded and you want them to grow, they're not going to get a better opportunity to try something out and grow with this than what we've got right now. So I think these are really important steps toward getting to these ultimate goals. But so far what we're seeing is pretty awesome. And like Jimmy said, he was giving, self-serve a run. It's slick, man. I just,
oh yeah,
it's been so cool. I mean, there were certain things, you guys, we would try where you'd hit the back button on certain pages and the thing would go white and you'd have to re-navigate around and you see these things incrementally improve as an admin, but then now seeing what's available with self-serve, the team's just done an amazing job on really putting together a polished product in the early state. I don't know. But,
totally. And can I say, just to your point, Luke, I've, in due diligence to this and being, official and, detached and professional, I was like, all right, I will try out all of the other things and we will do comparisons of, all these other self-service channels, and in a way with an amount of time that it's never had to do before. And it's a nightmare out there, Google, Facebook, using, what Apple gives. It's just all such a nightmare. And the Brave self-serve system is the easiest way to do that too, right? So it's not only private, not only great, across other these things, objectively, legitimately, it is the easiest one to run. And I'm not, so, so I struggle with these things, and I like, obviously I have some experience in the matter. And like this stuff is just, I'm like, how does somebody with a startup like go into any of this stuff and get it working? Like, Google's like, well, here's your pixel, and it's not, and it's firing, but it's not registering, and who the hell knows and can help you? And Google shut down our account twice in the
Really?
like in the space, like I think we ran 100 impressions and it shut it down twice. It was like no reason. And then I appealed, and then they're like, boop, boop, soup, open it back up. So it's just such a nightmare out there that, Brave, I think, Brave self-service is probably going to win on simplicity alone,
That's what we're kind of hoping to hear, man. That's really awesome to hear. And I can just second that too. Like working, kind of putting the growth out on a little while ago. It was surprising that some of these big platforms, like I think was Twitch, might have been Twitch or another one, where they're still having to just send you reports over email. Like, and you're like, what? Like this is the state of the state is kind of funky out there. But this is great feedback, Jimmy. Yeah, and thank you for joining us today, and Brendan too, for that matter, and everybody. But like, it was great to hear from you, Jimmy, and I'm really excited to see what you do.
We love you, Jimmy. We miss you.
Thanks so much. I miss all you guys. It was great to talk to you, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you everybody for joining the community call this week. We'll be back same bat time and channel 1 week from today. Until then, have a good one. See you all online. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.